Because this ginormous couch swallows us.
Careful now.
I know.
That's an irresistible sound. From an irresistible woman. Alrighty.
I'm just holding this till you tell the people who we are. I'm on standby.
Standby?
Yeah.
Standby to standby?
Yep.
Alright. Tip of the teeth, the tongue, and the lips.
Testicles.
I think I'm ready. Are you ready?
Yes.
You sure? Mm-hmm. Ready?
Action.
You have to wait.
Shit.
Alright. Go. All right. Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining us for another episode of TopicsPH, where we talk about the dirty, the clean, and everything in between. Why?
Because that's how she likes it.
Exactly. And she does, boys.
Mm-hmm.
Me.
You.
I am your world's greatest host.
Trying to remember his pronouns.
Yeah. My, me, my, me, my, my. Your world's greatest host here, as always, Papi, with my beautiful wife, as always.
Hermosa.
It's been a while. It's been a long time.
Obviously.
It's been a while. If you didn't notice, I'm pretty sure you can notice, if you're watching us, we're on the couch.
Yeah, we're not in our pink chairs because the 1,000-year flood flooded our living room. Well, I guess not our living room, where we film.
Our studio. Next to the living room.
So now we're just going to be on the couch for a while.
We're on the kizzy.
But the pink chairs were not damaged, so
we're good.
We're okay.
We're good. We're
just
good.
a little water.
Yeah. You gonna...
Oh, yeah. What are we drinking? UT Vol Lager.
That what?
Go Vols. It's the Vol Lager by
Vols.
Yeehaw.
Yeah.
Yeehaw Brewery. I wonder if Rocky Top sings or plays when you open it.
Woo! You got on your pants, I think.
Oh, jeez.
Interesting. Go ahead. Let's see.
Says it's great to be a Tennessee Vol. Is it though?
I think it's been for like maybe a year or so. They've been winning, though.
Yeah, that's pretty good. It's kind of weak sauce though. It's 4.2% alcohol. So
it's
you
like
can drink
your
a lot. Yeah. It's good. I like it.
Tastes like a hoppier
Tastes like victory.
Hoppier Bud Latte. I like how they went with the plaid orange and white.
The checkerboard, you mean?
Yeah, plaid.
It's a checkerboard. Come on, get it together. You've lived here for how long?
Not long enough, apparently.
But yeah, it's really good. I like it.
Yeah.
Way better than that last one we drank.
What was that last one?
That Indian Pale Ale.
Oh, that was good. Oh. That was the Shuck the Juice. When in doubt, Shuck the Juice.
It was bad.
It was good.
Anyway, what are we talking about today?
Today, so I'm pretty sure everybody that has
everybody
TikTok,
or just everybody?
both.
Okay.
Everybody in the club and everybody here.
Everybody in the club.
Everybody there.
Tipsy.
Sorry, I was parched from that intro.
It's difficult.
It was hard. But anyways, I'm pretty sure that everyone has noticed on the TikTok or the YouTube Shorts, whatever, the Facebook
Instagram.
Reels and Instagram this and straight flexing, that what that people have been talking all kinds of smack on politics. And what is it that they're saying? What's the phrase that they're using? It's not. They say it's politics. It's not personal, right?
Yeah, it's
Don't take politics personally.
No, it's not politics. It's personal.
No, they're saying that.
That's what they're saying.
But it says, people tell me it's just politics. Don't take it personal. And then it says, well, it's personal. It's not politics to me. And so
my volume was on high, apparently.
I think a lot of people have, seen that. If not, just go on there and type in like politics, personal politics, or
Trying to find it so I know exactly what it is.
yeah, I don't know.
Keep talking.
But anyways, a lot of people have been on TikTok doing that, and it seems to be a lot of my fellow Hispanics doing this, and I understand like where they're coming from for some of this stuff, but it's like it's really not that serious. They're not.
Well, it's not that it's not serious. It's just they don't have their facts straight. They're taking one little tiny piece of information and running with it.
Well, that's what I mean.
And that's what it is. It's a serious concern, but what they're focusing on is not at all factual.
Well,
that's the problem.
Well, what I meant by it's not that serious is it's not that serious for them because they're not going to be affected by it. They think that, the thought is that people...
It's just politics. It's not personal. That's what it says. But for me, it is.
It
blah,
is
blah,
personal,
blah, blah. Yeah.
And so it's just politics. It's not personal. Well, they start taking it personal because they think, oh, well, my family had to do this and I'm, from this and this is how it's affecting me or my kids and all this crap. But they're not fully understanding that it's really not that serious for them. They want to make something personal that's really not. So I'll start off with talking about how for years, right, the black communities of the world, we'll say majority more than likely, they want to put everything on race. Mm-hmm. They think everything's about race. They want to say that, oh, it's because I'm black, that's why this is because I grew up in this poor neighborhood that I can't come up, all this stuff. But the reality of it is it's not. It's really not about anything that has to do with that, and all these people that are on TikTok, I think the majority of the ones that I'm getting anyways, are about like these Hispanics trying to say that Donald Trump is going to deport all these people, he's going to separate all these families, and he's going to go ahead and get, rid of all these Hispanics, we'll just say Mexicans, because that's, my lineage for the most part that I know. But they think that because he's talking about deportation of immigrants, that he means that he's just going to have all kinds of ICE everywhere, Border Patrol everywhere, all these people everywhere, literally just bagging and tagging fucking Latinos everywhere they're at. But that's not what he's saying. Like, he's not even getting to that. He has not said that that's what he's going to do. He said that there is going to be a mass deportation. Are there specifics? No. But they're using something from the past where he's referred to the drug cartel, the criminals that are coming across the border, right? That are murderers, that are rapists, that have charges over there and over here for that, where he referred to all of them as drug dealers, gang members, criminals, rapists, murderers. He referred to them correctly because that's what they are. And he's trying to stop them from coming here.
To protect the American
people. And as much as it's a double-edged sword in the sense where you're stopping good people just as much as you're stopping bad people, it's better to stop both people than to allow for somebody bad to come in half the time. Because then you put your people at risk. And now coming from a, Hispanic family, Mexican family, where, my parents, they came over here illegally and they, did it to make a better life for themselves, for their kids. And, that's the whole purpose of people coming here to the United States, is to make a better life for themselves. In that aspect, it's like, I understand why they're coming here.
Yeah.
I understand what they're doing. But just because you don't see it to be wrong doesn't make it wrong. Now, you take a risk, just like anybody else, to do that, right? Like, people take a freaking risk doing that every day. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, you shouldn't,
Yeah, I think what it is like, okay, when your parents came over here, they knew this is illegal. What I'm doing is against the law of the United States. But that risk is okay with me because it's a risk I'm willing to take to provide a better future for my children. Where it's like they risked possible deportation, they risked possible, getting stopped at the border. Your mom got stopped at the border the first time. She had to come across twice. So it's like
that's because she lives with my dad, though.
Well, yeah. Side note, whatever. Anyway, she knew that was a possibility.
Yeah.
But she was willing to take the risk for her children. But they knew it was wrong. And that's where I think people are shying away from. It's like, whether it's for a better life or not, it's still illegal. If you kill your abuser, your life improves.
Yeah, look at the
Menendez brothers, but it's still illegal. Like, we have to have laws to govern this country because you have to have laws. If you don't, it'll be like, what's that movie, Purge?
Yeah.
And the thing is, people, I think, are looking at this immigration thing from a different perspective. People are like, oh, my parents came here, they gave me a better life. I was afraid every day my parents would get deported by ICE. Yes, that's horrible. I can only imagine what that is like. But your parents did not come here thinking that life would be easy, but it wasn't as hard as it was in Mexico. That sacrifice, that chance that they might get deported was worth it to them to give their kids a better life, to be able to be safe, to be able to have a nice home, to have more than what was available to them in Mexico. And I almost feel like a lot of these people, like, the sacrifice their parents made is being jaded by, oh, what about me? Well, yeah, what about you? But why aren't you grateful for what your parents did for you? Why are you using their immigration status as like a crutch to like get your agenda across, instead of saying, my parents came here, they were illegal. I understand that that's wrong, but they did it for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that should be the point, not, oh, look, let's make it legal for everybody to come over, because we have that mentality. But then you skip across the other side of the country and you have people that are like livid because Haitians are eating ducks out of ponds.
Cats.
And it's like,
dogs.
So you don't want certain people, but you want certain people. What if you're Haitian? Like, why don't they get a voice? You see what I'm saying? Like, and my point with that is, you can't let everybody in, because then we wouldn't be a protected nation, because like you said, the bad come in with the good.
Yeah.
And yeah, when Hispanic people get here, they work their asses off. They do. No one can argue that. And like, they make this country what it is. And what needs to happen, instead of saying, oh, it's going to be deportation, it needs to be a proper channel so that you can come in and it's easier. It doesn't take 14 years to get a citizenship, because that is ridiculous.
And there should be obviously vetting to it, and there should be things that are practical.
Yeah.
Make it more practical so that good people can come in and not the bad people, not the ones that he's actually referring to, that people are all, like fed up on or caught up on, whatever the fucking saying is. But because that's really what everybody's focusing on, is like, oh, well, he's a racist, he's in this. Donald Trump is not a racist.
No.
Donald Trump has said a lot of things, and he will continue to say a lot of things. And the reason that he is the way he is and he speaks the way he speaks is because he said it before. He doesn't have time for him to sweet talk somebody because he's solving problems. He doesn't have time to go ahead and speak in candy canes and rainbows and worry about your fucking feelings, because he's a businessman. And when it comes to business, that is his only mindset. He understands business, and in business, it's not about, I'm going to be your friend. It's about, I'm going to help my company at the same time that you help your company. And together we can help each other, but one of us is going to come out on top a little more. That's business, and it's not personal. People take all this shit so personal, as if he's this terrible person. He's not. Look at everything that he's done and compare it to everything that Kamala Harris has done with the recent fucking what's that shit, the FEMA, the hurricane Helene, right?
Yeah.
So he went out within, I don't know, a day
Not
or
even
so
that long, I don't think,
of it happening. And he took food, water, clothing, like trucks and truckloads of that to all these people. Not only that, but he donated $21 million of his own dollars to it. Not only that, but he housed in all of the freaking the hotels, the
linemen in hotels in Florida,
all the linemen, all these construction workers, everybody. And I guarantee every single one of them was Hispanic, and he fucking did it.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like, Look at that. Everything he did, and he even got Elon Musk on board, who, you know, that dude's a little bit trippy at times, but he got him on board to hook him up with some phones and some internet for free for at least like 90 days or something, so they can get FEMA help. Yeah. That obviously isn't helping, but, you know, what did Kamal do? Oh, let me give you $700.
I feel like
let me give you $300.
To me, like, everybody wants to glorify that $750, but she is so out of touch with reality. Like, $750, what is that going to do for people that don't have a home? What is it going to do for people that don't have running water? Where are they going to go get this food when their grocery stores are destroyed? Yeah. Like what is that going to do? You know what I mean? It's like, that almost is like an insult, because, I mean, we obviously, because we actually are sitting in our living room, we didn't get not even a fraction of the heartache and the problems that people literally like 50 feet this way had. The houses are completely gone like this way. And, you know, there's a lot of those situations. And then North Carolina, like, it's completely gone, you know, but it's like, they're not, you know, we can't release FEMA funds until House and Senate come back, but yet we can give Ukraine money without them being in office. Then get their asses back. What are they doing? Like, and I think that's the thing, is the government has lost the mindset that they work for the people. Yeah. It's like, once they get there, they just quit.
Yeah, they don't care.
And it's like, you are here to speak for the people that voted you in, and they don't do that anymore.
No, they just sit there, collect the paycheck, don't show up to shit because they don't have to. Yeah. And then they show up last minute and then just do whatever. Yeah. Whatever's going to benefit them rather than what's going to benefit the people. Yeah. They don't think about anybody but themselves. And again, but people think that Donald Trump is the bad guy.
Yeah, that he's a bully and he's a racist and all this stuff. And excuse me, I want to touch back on immigration before we change channels. You know,
trust me, we're still on immigration.
I think, my idea, I know how to fix all this.
What we need to do is he needs to, or whomever needs to decide on a date by next year, next November, whatever. They need to set up an online forum where you can go, if you have been living here as an immigrant from any country, not just Mexico, if you have been living here as an immigrant, illegal or not, and you do not have your citizenship, or your work visa is about to expire, whatever, and you have been working, you have been contributing to our society because... And you haven't committed any crimes. And now we're not talking about, you know, like, oh, I was illegal and that's why I got put in jail.
No, we're talking about, like, you've not raped and murdered anybody.
Yeah.
Or you've like not, stolen, like, you know, grand theft auto, stealing fucking cars, arson, you know, selling drugs, drug charges, that kind of thing. Like, if you have been here, like, so many people that we know personally that have been here for years, they've paid taxes, they've worked every day, they've worked their asses off, they've contributed to our society with no benefits, no health care, nothing.
Well, look at Bera.
Yeah,
and my oldest sister Bera, and Chucho, but my oldest sister Bera, after being here for, like, I don't know, 30 plus years or whatever, she's finally gotten her citizenship. And the reason that it's backtracked this long and done all this is because every president that has come by before now, you know, has gone ahead and allowed for all these illegal immigrants to come in, right?
Well, and the problem is it's not the people that... What's happened is every time somebody new comes into office, they expedite the new people.
That's what I'm saying.
They don't expedite like DACA. DACA didn't do shit for the people that were already here.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the problem.
It expedites everything before them, so it screws all the other people. Mm-hmm. I look at it kind of like the VA system, right? So the Vietnam vets, they're fucked. They get screwed over all the time. Why? Because everything that is passed is for people after the Vietnam. My assumption is that, it's because they're embarrassed. They're embarrassed of the Vietnam vets and everything the Vietnam did and everything the Vietnam was all about, you know, and it's not their fault. It's not the vets' fault.
They're not embarrassed of the vets. They're embarrassed of why the vets had to go.
That's what I'm saying. But they're embarrassed of everything that came from that. So they pass every law, they pass every single change to start after Vietnam, which is messed up. That's what happens with this system too. For all these immigrants and everything, it makes the ones that have been trying to for years take longer and longer. And then they have to pay more money. And then it takes longer. They have to pay more money. And that's the problem. Is there everybody coming in, everybody that's new is getting things quicker than the people that have been doing the right thing for a long time. Yeah. So that's why the way you're talking about it, it's perfect.
So what they need to do is let's just say November 5th of next year, starting now, November 5th of 2025, You have 1 year to go online, register yourself as an illegal immigrant, someone that has come into this country. Here are my pay stubs. Here, this is my residence. This has been my residence. You know, when I first got here, I lived here. Then I moved here. That kind of thing. And you can register that you have been here. You have been working. I know some people get paid in cash. That's fine. Put it down. What do you think you made in a year? Because they fucking know how much they make. Because they're smart. These people, they act like most Hispanic workers are the smartest motherfuckers you will ever come across.
They gotta be.
They can make, like, I watched my brother-in-law tape a fucking paintbrush to a broomstick and paint a corner better than I can 5 inches from my face. like that blew my mind while standing on a ladder, and I swear to God I thought he was gonna die. But they know how to do anything. And so, like, you know that they have kept up with all this. Document the taxes, document all of it. How many children did you have while you were over here? How many children did you father while you were over here? Like, your life needs to be registered on this online form. It's 2024, about to be 25. Everybody has a fucking cell phone. And if you don't have one, you can go to Walmart and get one. Or if you don't have one, they should be able to apply for one. There's DMVs everywhere that can do that. Or they need to have mobile stations open where they can go have access to a computer to apply for their immigration status. After November 1st of 25, if you have not applied, you are deported. Period. That's what it needs to be, because that gives everybody that's here a chance. People that have been here for 30 years, people that have been here for 30 minutes, it doesn't fucking matter. If you get in before November 1st of 2025, you're in.
And what they should do in the meantime, right? Because the country, people from, a lot of people in this country can say things like, oh, well, then, at that point, they're going to take advantage of this and that and that and this. Well, while they're taking advantage of certain things, right, they're also paying taxes for certain things. Yeah. A lot of them have paid taxes.
Oh, yeah, a lot of them do.
And a lot of them pay taxes, because, they have fake socials. And those socials are actually real people. And so they pay it because they don't want to screw anybody over.
Yeah, and also, paying taxes or not, they do jobs that half of America is too fucking lazy to do. They're not going to do it.
Yeah.
And they do it well, and they do it hard, and they work their asses off because they have pride in what they do. And, that's the thing. It's like, yeah, you can bitch and moan all you want to, but I don't see you waking up at 4 a.m. to go down to the Home Depot in, Los Angeles and wait for somebody to give you a job for that day.
Yeah.
Not knowing if you're going to make the money that you need to feed your kids. But those people are going to bitch from their couch. Mm-hmm. That's, in their house that's paid for by the government because they're on government subsidy.
And they're getting government checks, and they're getting stamps, and they're getting...
For having kids?
Cards.
You see what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not talking shit. We'll get to welfare in a minute. But I'm just saying we need to give the people that are here already the chance to be citizens. And then after that deadline, whatever they decide the deadline's going to be, if you're caught, you're done. You're going. You're being deported. Yeah. No matter what country you came from, you're being deported. And that will give us a year to increase our border patrol, increase ICE, do whatever it needs to be done, and just let people know, hey, you come across, it's not like it used to be. We are a hard border now. We will find you. We will deport you. Yeah. You risk a lot to be sent to if you get caught because the import day has ended. Yeah. And that's what needs to happen, because that way it would give everybody the chance that has been here and made our country what it is. And then after that, while that's happening, they need to figure out ways of proper channels to apply for citizenship in this country that is streamlined.
It's practical.
And I know that back in the day, before the internet, you didn't know. Somebody could tell you, hey, I'm so-and-so, I'm 25. They're not. They're 40. They've murdered 30 people. You don't fucking know. Now,
there's no hiding.
I mean, I saw a TikTok video where this one guy was like, I put this out 30 minutes ago for the internet to help me figure out who this person was. Within 25 minutes, he had who she was, how she was getting paid by the Democratic Party to go hype people up, like, in 30 minutes. Yeah. Like, you can't hide in today's society. And so will people slip through the cracks? Of course. There's ways to do it. There's what's it called? There's professional criminals everywhere. Yeah. But for the most part, for everyday people, they're going to be able to be vetted at least a little bit.
Yeah, and for the people that are here, for the people that do that and that put in their application for this stuff, they should get a temporary temporary like residency to be here, and in that time,
immediately, as soon as they apply for it, there's no waiting. It shoots out of the fucking computer, or you give like a little
like you can print it out, or you
what's
get
that
a
thing
QR
called?
code.
Yeah, QR code on your phone,
and it gets sent to their phone, or it can get sent to their computer, or it can be printed out,
or they can mail it. They get to pick.
Yeah,
you can do
or
all
you can
three.
do both. It doesn't matter, but they get that. With that, then they can get a license. So now that's going to put more money in the government because they charge for licenses. They can get insurance. So that's going to put more money into this world because, you know, you got to pay for insurance. They can go ahead and apply for, you know, they can actually get health insurance through their companies. So now the companies are also, you know, benefiting because now they have these different, you know, areas where the government's going to make money, where they're going to go ahead and things will be more practical. It'll be the way they want, and you'll have citizens working. So what's that going to do? That's going to allow for the government to benefit just as much as the people are. Yeah. Because those people have been here for so long, this is the life they know. Yeah. And so when you take that from them, you know, you're taking their life. And so you're taking their life away that they're used to, and you're taking them away from, you know, even people that they're used to being around. So the way you're saying it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I mean, you got to look at people that have been here since they were 2. They don't know how to exist in Mexico.
Hell, even if they were here since they were 10.
Some of them don't even fucking speak Spanish.
15, it doesn't matter.
But do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, some of them grew up here. Like, yeah, they weren't born here, but they don't even speak Spanish. Like, they can't go to Mexico and be like, what's up? I'm back. Like, there's nobody to go back to, you know? And, like... And that's the problem, you know. Just deporting people is not the answer. People need to be given time to like establish themselves, but it needs to be like, listen, do this. We're making it overly readily available for you to do this. Yeah. And if you don't do it after this date, you're fucked.
Yeah, that's on you.
And I mean, I just really feel like that's the only fair way to do it, because that's like, it's like a do-over. It's like, okay, we're starting fresh. Like, this is what we're going to do, because no matter how you shake it, somebody's getting screwed.
Yeah, somebody has to.
Someone's getting screwed somewhere. But I really believe that's the way to fix it. Is it going to cost a lot of money? Yeah, but you know what? Excuse me. Let's like decrease government spending a little bit on bullshit, like, I don't know, other countries, and like $200,000 furniture stipends and bullshit they don't fucking need. Like, let's get rid of that.
Senators and governors and all their offices.
Yeah, or I don't know. Maybe let's let senators and governors not get as much of a salary every year.
Yeah, what are they doing?
But you know what I mean? Like, you can take it off for like a year because they can't pay their mortgages. Don't make them pay them for a year. Whatever. What's it matter? You know what I mean? Like, we're talking about like a very small percentage of the population. Like, you can fit all those people in our house.
Well, the majority of those people, they don't have to worry about the money they get, because they've already locked in money somewhere else. Yeah. They've already made it so that they don't have to work when they get done. Yeah. They're just doing that to try to make more and more money and get more and more money.
Which, I mean, but I get that. Like, everybody wants more money. Like,
no, I understand. There's nothing wrong with that. But what I'm saying is they don't need the money that's being paid to them.
To fix what's broken, these servants of the people,
government servants,
should be willing to be like, all right, you know, this is messed up. We need to fix it. Like, especially people that have states that are like heavily populated with immigrants. Yeah. Like, I don't know, over half the United States. You know what I mean? Like, Maine, you're cool. There ain't nobody in Maine.
Nobody even knows where Maine is.
I'm just kidding. There probably is, but you know, I feel like that
Ohio.
There's probably some immigrants.
I think that's where they sent all the Haitians.
There's a lot of
or was it Idaho?
There's a lot of people from like the Middle East in Ohio, isn't that?
Wow, I've never been.
I don't know. I've never been there.
But anyways,
one time.
To me, that's why when I saw those about the whole, you know, oh, well, I take it personal, and they start talking about being Hispanic and their families are this, and their parents came here and they do all this, and you know, blah blah blah. It's like all you're doing is you're fucking bitching and complaining. Quit complaining. Quit blaming somebody else for what happened. They understood the risk. Yeah. And now you understand the risk. Yeah. So they didn't want to go ahead and do certain things a certain way so they can get certain benefits. That's on them. Were they able to? Possibly.
Well, like
because
that one
more
girl,
than likely.
That one girl, she's like, my dad, he's been here for 30 years. He married my mom, who is an American citizen, and had 3 daughters. Like, I'm still trying to figure out why the fuck this guy is an American citizen by this point.
Well, I'm pretty sure he committed some kind
of crime. And like one guy said, why didn't you, your mom, or your 2 sisters be his sponsor? Yeah. Like, Like, that's not.
Apparently, you don't want your dad to be a citizen that bad.
Yeah, it's like, why
But
is that?
now it's an issue because now you have this wannabe black, vice president trying to run for president when she's actually fucking Indian and Jamaican. Okay, look.
But it doesn't even matter. That's the crazy part.
But what I'm saying is now they want to make it seem like, oh, we have somebody that's supporting us that isn't white, that isn't, a bullet, that isn't all these things. Or as somebody called them, that isn't a dummy, which is fucking stupid. But it's now is when you care about things that you should have cared about a long time ago. Because that person that put that shit on TikTok, she said she graduated college. That means that she had at least 4 years, right? Because she was 18 when she went to college, I'm guessing.
Or even 19.
Whatever.
Or 17.
We'll just say 18 at the earliest, right? Unless she was super smart, which she obviously doesn't seem very smart. But she 18 years old, 4 years, where she could have done something as an adult to help her dad out. But she didn't. She'd rather blame somebody else. And now that you have this, vice president that's wanting to get all these women voters that are not white, then now she wants to say that it's somebody else's fault. And that she's going to vote for this person because of the color of their skin, because of how they identify, apparently, as a female, and because of the race they identify, at any given moment, rather than actually researching and looking up what she's all about. Because if this female actually did that, that made that TikTok video, just like all the other ones, if they actually did their research, they would find out that Donald Trump isn't against all these immigrants. He isn't trying to get rid of all the people that are helping this country. He literally has them working in a lot of the businesses that he owns. Why? Because he believes that they are also a foundation of this country.
Yeah.
And even JD Vance fucking says it all the time, And it's ridiculous. And it's upsetting because, I would expect my fellow Hispanic people to, that are first generations like me here, that have all these benefits from this country, to be more educated, to look to be better, to look to be smarter, to, look to research. They have all the access in the world at their fucking fingertips with one of these. But yet they choose to just listen to things that they hear and consider that fact than actually doing their own research. I'm not saying just Google search. I'm not saying Yahoo search. I'm not saying, just, ask ChatGPT. What I'm saying is they need to actually research from the beginning to the most recent times and look at every single avenue and try to understand what's really going on rather than just what they watch on TV or what they see on TikTok.
Quit trying to pick out what appeals to you and see the whole picture.
Yeah, because all
it is they're just picking out what appeals to them, what today meets their agenda, and that's a problem.
Yeah, they're all about quick satisfaction. They're all about, today, again, it falls back on this whole freaking gender thing. Today I feel like a girl. Tomorrow I'll feel like a fucking dog. The next day I'll feel like a boy. You know what I mean? In 2 seconds, I feel like you should call me you and I'm. You know what I mean? Like, that's not how these things work. It's not about instant satisfaction, gratification. It's about more than that. And the fact that all these people that are literally voting for Kamala Harris, that they say they're going to, they are all those type of people. They're all the people that, you would think would be more educated. They're all the people that want to say, oh yeah, I support, I'm all about equality. Well, if you're all about equality and you are so educated, then you wouldn't have hatred towards anybody.
They're all about equality as long as the equality is what they want.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, they don't understand it.
The whole race thing, I mean, obviously I'm white, but, the whole, there was a thing on TikTok and then I saw, and I've actually seen this a lot, and it said, vote as if your loved one is an immigrant, your daughter is an SA survivor, your child is unsafe in school, you can't afford housing, your skin is not white.
Wait, did it say that your daughter
has been
what?
sexually assaulted.
Well, so you're saying that boys can get sexually
Exactly. And it said, vote as if your skin is not white, your land was stolen, your child is trans, your sibling is gay, and you're a woman.
Hold on.
So let's just hold on.
Break them down. We'll do it one by one.
Okay.
Do it one by one.
Vote as if your loved one is an immigrant.
Okay.
So, like, we're all immigrants. Last time I checked, like...
Everybody here is an
everybody's here
immigrant.
except for who?
Oh,
That's
the Native
right, the Native
Americans.
Americans. Which, guess who my great-grandmother was?
Native
American.
American.
Guess what color my skin is? Oh, I'm white as fuck.
Oh, hold on. Let's talk about who also, just to clarify, who's also not an immigrant from here. How about all the fucking Aztecs and Mayans?
Yeah.
They literally lived in California, Texas, and all those places, right? So
Yeah.
they're not immigrants. There you go.
Yeah.
So can they
We're
not?
all immigrants.
It's
Like
technically like that's all Hispanic bloodlines.
Yeah.
Come from there.
or Spain. And
Or
they're
Spain.
just like sprinkled into Spain. Like Spain sprinkled in.
Sprinkle in, yeah.
Your daughter is a sexual assault survivor. So if your son was sexually assaulted,
You can't.
that doesn't matter.
You can't vote. You can't
You're
think
cool.
that.
It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Your sons are swept away because they don't matter. But we're
No.
going to focus on females being sexually assaulted.
Yeah.
But we're not going to protect our daughters. We're going to say, hey, it's fine if a boy who still has a functioning penis wants to dress up like a girl and go in the girls' bathrooms where you're supposed to be safe.
Or in the locker rooms.
Yeah.
Where, you're going to be naked. Or they're probably going to be naked.
There's an NCAA swimmer that put out a whole thing, and I can't remember her name, but I'll look it up. Said that, that NCAA swimmer that they allowed, who was
Yeah.
a 6'4" man
Who's in the locker
with
room
a
naked.
6'4" man penis, was changing clothes with all these women in there, just fucking naked as hell, dick swinging through the ladies' locker room.
Yeah.
But it's okay because he identifies as a woman.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. If you identify as something else, if we're going to do that, they need their own, like we've talked about before, they need their own league. They need their own competition. They need their own dressing rooms.
Yeah.
It needs to be the trans Olympics, the trans NCAA tournament, the
Yeah.
trans whatever. I'm not saying that, those people, they're dealing with whatever they want to deal with, or not want, but they're dealing with their own thing. I'm not disregarding anybody's feelings. I don't understand. I don't even know what that's like to feel like you were born in the wrong gender. I can't argue to that. I'm not going to. But what I'm saying is to protect all the men and women who are the sex they were born and who are competing with those same-sex people, they should also be protected. And so what we need to do is have male NCAA, female NCAA, and trans NCAA. That fixes it. Fine, do it.
Yeah.
Give them their
And-
own fucking everything. Their own high school sports, their own middle school sports. Oh, there's not enough.
That's not our fault.
Sorry.
That's not our fault.
That's not our fault. We're still protecting our kids, and we're giving the trans community
Equality.
their equality that they want so bad.
They want to be the same, right?
Yeah.
Because it's obvious males and females are not the fucking same. That's
And
why
that's
they
a
have
whole nother
but
conversation.
but that's why they have two different
Yeah.
leagues. They have a
Yeah.
male and a female.
Yeah.
Well, they want a league too, or because the only reason that I see is that they want to compete because they're subpar in their league. It's literally only the males wanting to compete in female sports. I don't see a single freaking
Or-
female trying to compete. I don't see, what's her name? The Clarkson freaking, what's her name? Clark? Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark.
I don't see Caitlin Clark
Even though she
saying,
could probably school some guys.
I don't see her trying to say, oh yeah, I want to go ahead and play in the NBA
No.
because I consider myself. No, because she'll get fucking rocked. Her against somebody like, I don't know, fucking even, what's that dude that does the commercials?
Stephen Curry?
Steph Curry.
He's one of the best players in the NBA.
That's what I'm saying. Even her against
Yeah.
Steph Curry, which we'll just say they're very.
They have a similar styles, and
Yeah.
they're a similar frame for their sport.
I don't even know if they play the same position, but I'm assuming they
think so.
do. But even them two, right? Like we'll just say she is the Steph Curry of her fucking,
Yeah.
of the female league, and Steph Curry's a Steph Curry. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Have them play against each other. Dude's gonna school her. Why?
They're both small for their league, yeah.
But it's because they're both, optimal athletes in their league. I don't see her wanting to compete against Steph Curry. I don't see her wanting to compete with LeBron James. I don't see her wanting to compete
You
against
don't
anybody.
see Steph Curry trying to go to the WNBA.
No, because he understands that he made it.
Right.
Because he's one of the top athletes.
Well, and even if it's not...
No,
even-
but that's the reason why.
Right, but even let's just say it's not.
It is.
But we don't know that. So for argument's sake, let's say it's not. even if they don't want to compete against, like, if it's a male that is trans, that is transitioning to a female, if he doesn't want to compete in male sports because of safety, because
what's wrong?
Listen, because they're going to go after him because he's the odd one out. I understand that. Then that's even more reason to give them their own league. That's even more reason. This is a protected.
I understand.
You want to talk safe space?
Yeah.
Then he can play sports that are, he can play against females that are transitioning to males and other males that are transitioning to females. That way they have more of an understanding of each other, and they can all change in the same dressing room. Whatever they need to do,
no, I understand.
They can do that.
I agree with giving them their own league. That's 100% practical. That's 100% correct.
But what I was saying was, it may not be because they're trying to take advantage of it. It may be that it's a safety thing.
I doubt it's a safety thing.
But I'm just trying to be devil's advocate.
I doubt it's a safety thing, and the reason I doubt it is because why does it only happen? Why are these athletes only trying to do this after they haven't made it in there?
That is a good argument.
In the,
like, they've competed as men, and now they weren't successful, then they go and compete as a female, and they're like amazing.
Yeah. And the only reason I say that is because that's what all of them do. They don't make it as men, as boys.
Yeah.
So they go and they compete against women and girls. And for any female to say that that's okay and they support that, I mean, you're literally going to take back all the years that women have fought for women's
equal rights, like Title IX in sports.
Not even that. We'll say women, right, to start off. But now, if you're a black woman, you know how much longer it took?
Oh, I know.
It took even longer for black women to have equal rights.
No,
but what I'm saying is, in America, it literally was white women got equal rights before anybody. Then black women did way later.
Yeah.
But they fought for years. So if you're a black female, I'm going to say, if you're a black female and you think that it's okay for all these trans male athletes that are transitioning to female to be participating in these female sports, be in those locker rooms, in those bathrooms.
And now let's throw in all the lesbians that fought their asses off to not get treated like shit just because they wanted to love how they wanted to love. Like, them in sports, like, they just wanted to change clothes, but they were like shunned, and all the years that they had to fight for equality.
That's what I'm saying.
Just because they weren't attracted to the right people. Like, it's ridiculous. They should be so pissed about this.
Every single woman. But I'm looking at all these black females that say that they're going to vote for Kamala Harris because she's black. They're going to vote for Kamala Harris because she's a female. They're going to vote for her because she's a black female.
Yeah.
Right? Well, number one, you're fucking wrong. She's not. Not the same black that you are. I'm sorry, but it's not. Skin color doesn't make everything.
You shouldn't vote for somebody just because of the color of their skin. That's or their lack of. You shouldn't not vote for somebody because of their lack of pigmentation. Like,
but that's what I'm saying.
Like, we're going in the wrong direction as a country.
And they're saying that, just like P. Diddy when he came out talking about Diddy, But yeah, the only reason I bring him up is because when Barack Obama was running for president, he literally came out. Right, which this kind of makes sense too with the whole Barack Obama thing. Anyway. But he came out and he was literally, his slogan was "Vote or Die." Right, vote or die. That was his thing. He had shirts made and everything. They were by P. Diddy, vote or die. And it was all these black artists. Obviously they probably did it because Diddy was diddling them.
We don't know that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But obviously it's it makes sense, but I'm not saying
Fear the Diddler instead of Fear the Reaper.
So every single one of them came out. They literally said they had never had so many black voters until Barack Obama came out. That's what they showed. The statistics proved it. But all these people now, they're doing that. And she's trying to get all these black voters that are female to go ahead and support them. And what's funny is all these white females are the ones supporting her more because they don't want to look like fucking racists, which is ridiculous too. But the fact that they're voting for her, or they're even supporting her and allowing all these things that go against women's rights, shows that they obviously do not care about women.
Yeah.
And the number one group that should be out there voting against Kamala Harris, fighting for women's rights, should be all of the feminists. Yeah. If they consider themselves so freaking strong and proud.
Letting men identify as women and saying that a woman you don't have to have a uterus or breast or the female chromosome to be a woman. Like, you can be a woman if you feel like it. Like, I'm sorry, are you fucking, what?
Yeah. Feminists should be the number one fighting against all that, because they literally are supposed to be independent. They're supposed to be strong and all about women. If they allow for stuff like that, obviously they're just hypocrites.
Like, why aren't we burning our bras over that shit?
Yeah.
Like, and my thing is, like, there is a happy medium. We just have to find it. Like, allowing people to do whatever they want, that's fine. Do it. If you want to do whatever you want. But don't take advantage of somebody. Don't try to put someone else on the back burner for your own gain. Don't take advantage of people. And that's the problem. It's like, wait a second, why can't we all just get along? But I'm sorry, because I'm white, I can't say certain things, or because I'm white and I'm a female, I don't understand. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't get that. I don't get where we're at in society. For so long, everything was about civil rights, right? And that's the way it should have been. It should have never been that blacks were less than, ever. That is not correct.
No race should ever be less than any other race.
We're finally over that, for the most part. Where, I mean, obviously racism occurs. You'd be stupid to think otherwise.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't. And now the tables have turned. Now it's, if you're white, just because you're white, you're wrong. You're wrong. Yeah. And it's like, I'm sorry, did I choose to be white? Last time I checked, you don't like push a fucking button in utero. I'd prefer to be olive colored skin. Thank you. Like, you don't, I can't fucking help that I'm white. I can't. 4 of our children can't help that they're white. Like, it's not a thing that you decide to be. But what you can decide to be is open-minded and coexist with people and not treat people because of the color of their skin. You don't treat people differently. You can choose to not see color. You can choose to see people. And that's what has been the message for so long. And now, when it finally was getting to that point where people didn't see color, it's like, oh, now all the white people are racist again. Wait, what? And now everybody's racist against white people. Where it's like, why? I never did that. Like, I'm 41 years old. I wasn't raised that way. Yeah. And it's like, I mean, yeah, does that happen? But it needs to be against those people that do it, not a blanket of color where we should be sorry that we're white.
Yeah, I mean, people obviously, and, some black people obviously always look at race before anything else.
Some.
That's why I said some.
Not all.
Some. And they shouldn't look at that when it comes to, electing a president. They shouldn't look at that when talking to people. They shouldn't look at that at all. They should literally listen to the one person who stood up for black rights, Martin Luther King, when he said, judge me not by the color of my skin, but by the, hold on.
I don't remember. I didn't listen to American
by the
history.
Context of my character.
Yeah.
Something like that, right? Don't quote me. I might be wrong. But that, not 100% right on that one, but that's what he said. You're not judging somebody by their color of their skin. You should not look at somebody's skin and assume that they are something.
Yeah.
But you should get to know them, right? Like we were talking about one time in the car, is be curious.
Yeah.
Ask them questions. Get to know them as a person, as a human being, because we're all humans. So get to know them as a human being. And then as they, reveal themselves, then you can cast a judgment.
Yeah.
And you don't have to cast a judgment in the sense of like, oh, I'm not going to talk to you because whatever. No, it's just like, you could literally be more subtle. You can just say, hey, you know what? Thanks, but I'm going to go over here.
Yeah, that's and I think that comes with accepting the fact that we're all from different walks of life, and we're all going through different things, and we're all struggling and succeeding in different things. And acknowledging that your problems, your concerns are not bigger than someone else's, and just opening your ears and shutting the fuck up.
Yeah, who was it? Somebody told me one time, you got 2 ears, you got one mouth.
Yeah.
Learn to listen twice as much as you speak.
Yeah, and it's like, and I think too, I don't understand, like, when in life, all these people want to talk about how Donald Trump, oh, he's a bully, he's a racist, he's this. When in your life have you ever met somebody that you agree with everything they ever say? Like, Never. We're married. You're my best friend.
We
I don't agree.
with
I don't
everything.
agree with everything you say. Some of this shit, I'm like, you're fucking crazy. But hey, I love you and you're really good looking. I'm just kidding. But it's like that doesn't make sense to me.
That's not just one.
But it doesn't have to make sense to me because I respect you.
Yeah.
And you are allowed to have your own thoughts. You're allowed to have your own opinions. And so am I. And that's my thing. Like, so all these people, they want to touch on one thing that's wrong with whoever. When it's like, or they want to touch on one thing that's right. Oh, she's black, I'm voting for her.
Yeah, that's it.
That's all you got? That's all it took? Fuck, okay.
If it only takes one thing for you to accept somebody, then you obviously...
Or one thing to not.
obviously
It's
are
like,
doing
have
this
you
wrong.
ever existed in a world where you agreed with everything everybody said?
It shouldn't just be one
Like,
thing.
that's not why you vote for president. It's not personal. What you need to... That's really true. It's not fucking personal.
it's
You need
not-
to look at what their policies are, what they want to do for this country, where they're going to be. Who gives a fuck if he's a bully?
And none of that.
Like, I don't care.
But also, for a fourth, is what have they done already?
Mm-hmm.
Because, going back to it, they literally have it all over the news, all over TikTok, all over social media. Kamala Harris has been a judge for years, right? She's a vice president for 4 now. And what has she done? Besides fund a war that's not in this country, give them
Even though
billions
she says
of
that
dollars.
there's not one.
Yeah, and it's all over the fucking news.
Yeah.
I mean, go ahead and just giving money to everybody else, but the people that need it here.
Yeah.
What else has she done besides screw over everybody in this country? She's done nothing.
But see, that's the thing. Everything you just said had nothing to do with her race, her personality, where she came from. Has nothing to do with that. It's what you're talking about is all what she's done on the political scene.
She's supposed to be a public
and that's
servant.
the important part that people aren't focusing on. It's
race
like,
doesn't
race
show your
doesn't
public
fucking
servitude.
matter. Like, I don't give a shit what color you are or where you're from. Do the right thing for the American people. Or do the right thing for your party, and then your party gets more votes than the other one. That's the whole point of
There you go.
democracy. Like, I don't give a shit. I don't fucking care. And nobody else should either. Like, the fact that Barack Obama came out
Scolded.
and basically rough talked a group of black men.
He scolded black
yeah, he was
men.
like, I can't believe you need to get out here and vote because
No, he
you're
said,
black.
I can't believe that we don't have as many brothers as when I ran for
we're better
president.
than that as a
Really,
nation.
bro?
Like, we are better than that as a fucking country.
As people.
He should say, where are all the people that support A, B, C, and D of what she's
Yes,
going to do
exactly.
for the black people?
Just like I came out, he should say, when I came out, these were the things that I stood
yeah,
for.
he had an actual campaign.
And she stands for these things. Not one time did he say that she stood for anything he stood for besides the fact that they were
even when they
black.
talk about, oh, she's not anti-immigrant, she's not anti-abortion, all they do, their campaign is literally just whatever Donald Trump says, the opposite of that.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so what is your plan? If you
Or if it's not the opposite, it's whatever is helping Donald Trump, and then they jump on board. Like, what did she say about guns? Right?
Yeah.
At first, she was against guns.
Right.
And then later, she was like, oh, no, I never said that. I'm for guns.
It's like, how are you for guns? The entire fucking Democratic Party is anti-gun.
She even said, oh, yeah, I have a freaking AR or something at home or something like that, right? And she's like, what?
Yeah.
At what point, like...
Well, and as far as anti-gun goes, I'm sorry, but any politician that wants to say they're anti-gun, I will believe you when your security
Doesn't
no
have
longer
any.
has guns.
Yeah.
When you no longer ride an armored car. When you no longer have an entire police force that transports you from point A to point B.
Or-
then I will fucking vote for you, whether
Or-
I believe anything else you say or not. That right there is conviction.
Or we'll do it like this. You don't want to get rid of your guns? That's fine. I'll get rid of my guns when every police force, every security that you have, everybody besides even the military that's on this land, have them get rid of all their guns.
Yeah. Oh,
and
well,
I'll get rid of mine too.
They're to protect me. Okay.
No,
Well,
when they're
why
on
is-
base, they can have them.
Yeah.
But when they step foot off base,
Yeah.
no guns for anybody.
Yeah.
Do it like that. And you can keep your security.
and
But
to
if not,
me-
get rid of your fucking guns and keep your security.
Yeah. And when people say, "Oh, I'm anti-gun," but then they have armed security guards, the only thing I see is, "Oh, so you think that your family and your life is more important than mine?" Because I'm sorry, nobody else's life is more important than mine and my family's.
Yeah.
Now, does that mean that I think I should have what everybody else doesn't get? Absolutely not. But you need to look at it from the perspective of what you're saying. Like, no one should have guns but me.
Right.
Like,
Like,
oh, okay.
whisper it. Just me.
But me. It's like, wait, what the fuck? Like, there's snipers in the fucking air right now waiting to shoot anybody that looks at you wrong, but you're anti-gun.
Against guns. You don't. It's like, yeah. It's like, I don't own any.
And
They
like,
can all have them, but I don't know
We'll just anti-gun criminals. Okay, because criminals are going to say, hey, come on over. Here's all my guns. You can have them.
Or criminals are going to say, you know what? I'm going to go to, we'll just say Dick's, right?
Yeah.
Or Academy or
And
Bass
I'm
Pro
going to
Shop.
register my AR-15 that I've like, you know, filed off the serial number. It's fine.
No, they're not gonna go buy a gun legally. They're criminals. They're gonna go buy a freaking what is it called? A Ghost 1911. Yeah. Why? Because they know where to get them.
Because it's a Ghost 1911. Well, and the thing, people are like, oh, I want to be safe when I go teach, or I want my kids to be safe in school. You want your kids to be safe in school? Then let all the teachers strap up. Let all the people that have gone to handgun safety classes that have handgun permits carry.
Yeah.
Dare a motherfucker to come in there and try to shoot your kid. The solution is not taking guns away, because the people that will still have guns are the criminals. Mm-hmm. Just like in Europe, where nobody has guns except for the criminals.
The criminals got all the guns.
Yeah, they got them all.
You're right. In schools, you want kids to be safe in schools, allow for these teachers to go ahead and be armed. Because I don't know of a single person that I've ever met. I mean, even in freaking, what is it called? Like all those actual extraction, right? With old Thor. Even movies like that. I don't know a single person that's going to be able to stop, we'll just say 30, people with handguns. Each one has about 12 rounds, and they're all shooting at this one person at the same time. I don't know a single person that's going to be able to dodge that many bullets.
Yeah.
That's a lot of bullets. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And
not even Morpheus could dodge that many bullets.
Neo might, though. Neo.
Maybe. John Wick.
Yeah, John Wick could.
In his teeth.
You know what? I'm mistaken. John Wick could, because,
he'd like catch him in his teeth. And
he'd probably block him with a sword.
Yeah. No, gun control is just fucking stupid.
Well, gun control isn't necessary. They just want to talk about it because they say guns are dangerous. And we've said it before, and I'll say it a million times. Guns are not dangerous. Stupid people with guns are dangerous. People that shouldn't have guns, like people that have mental illnesses, they're dangerous. What they need to do... Or
people that have guns and don't, like, take the proper precautions and lock them up and let their kids just, like, get their AR-15 out whenever the fuck they want. Like, no. Be a responsible gun owner. And that's what should be promoted. Responsibility. Yeah, but nobody wants responsibility.
You should have your gun locked up. And if you don't have your gun locked up, then you should teach your kids about the gun. Tell them this is not a toy. You're not going to touch this. You're not going to use this. Whenever you see this, you don't see it. Yeah. Because this isn't for you. This isn't a game. And you should keep your ammunition, right? If you're going to have a magazine that is full, then you need to keep your magazine out of your handgun or whatever gun you have. Mm-hmm. And if you have to, keep it separate.
Yeah.
Because if you have it so that it's for protection, then you should know, number one, where it's at, how to access it quickly, so that you can use it for protection. That's it. I don't know of a single gun that actually needs to have a round in the chamber. And I don't know of a single kid, well, maybe some kids, because some kids are pretty big, but that are, I don't know, we'll just say under the age of 12, right? That can put a round in a chamber on a handgun. It's pretty difficult.
Yeah, it's not an easy task.
To pull the gun back alone is difficult, and most guns have safeties. Or just get a trigger lock where you literally put a lock on the trigger and it has a key.
Yeah.
And don't let them know where the key is, because if you can't trust your kids, then there you go.
But it goes back to responsibility. A responsible person. And while we're talking about responsibility, we can talk about this whole abortion thing.
Oh, yeah.
And how they want to call abortion rights reproductive health.
Oh, God. I know.
Like,
it's ridiculous.
Reproductive health is not aborting a fetus from your body.
No.
Reproductive health is prenatal care, delivery care, postpartum care, I don't know, birth control.
We'll start from the beginning.
STD care.
Even before that, how about perennial care?
Yeah.
Take care of what's down there by being clean and not doing anything you shouldn't do.
Well, my thing is like, why are we focusing? To me, abortion should be your last ditch effort. Are there circumstances that Donald Trump agreed with? He said, go ahead and say what he said.
Let me go ahead
because everybody wants to say he's anti-abortion. He's not anti-abortion. He wants to leave it to the states, which to me is genius because it's like, you don't like your state's stand on abortion? Fucking move.
Yeah. And if you say, oh, well, I can't move because of this, well, then if you can't move if you're in a position where you aren't financially stable to even the point where you can't say, oh, I'm going to leave this place and go here because that needs financial stability. If you can't do something like that, then you probably shouldn't be having kids.
But you know what you can do for free? You can go to the health department and you can get birth control and you can get condoms for free. Yeah. Every month you can go get a packet of birth control.
Yeah.
They'll do a pelvic exam for free. They'll do STD testing for free.
We literally have a health department not that far from here, and whenever we drive into town, it literally is right there, and it says that you can go in there
birth control available free here. And we
pregnancy tests, everything.
Yeah, we both are nurses. We did clinicals at the fucking health department.
You have to.
Because you have to graduate. Like, that's the thing. People want to say, oh, I can't move out of state. No, what you can do is be responsible.
Hold on, say it again.
Responsible.
Hold on, one more time.
Responsible.
Because people aren't nowadays.
For your body and prevent pregnancy. Abortion should not be a pregnancy preventative measure.
No.
It should be a last ditch. Yes, I'm on birth control because people do get pregnant on birth control. We're not stupid. Yes, I use a condom. Sometimes condoms break. They're not guaranteed. And yes, I tried Plan B because sometimes Plan B doesn't work.
Because you're Mexican.
Because whatever.
Because you got impregnated by a Mexican, that's why a lot of those things don't work.
And the sperm's fighting shit. But the thing is, like, if you have done all these things, then it's like, okay, we see that you're a responsible human. And as part of that responsibility, you're saying, I can't provide a life for this child. That's why I was on birth control. That's why I used a condom. That's why I tried Plan B, because I knew that I was not responsible enough to have a kid.
Yeah.
I need an abortion. But the thing is, it shouldn't be, oh, I'll have unprotected sex. I don't give a shit. That's what they make antibiotics for. And then, oh shit, I'm pregnant. Let's go get an abortion. Like, it shouldn't be like your first line of defense in pregnancy. Like, you should be responsible for who you are.
It should not be a thought unless it's an emergency.
Yeah.
And this is what
because those emergencies do exist.
Yes, and they do happen. And this is Donald Trump's stance for all you people out here that want to say that Donald Trump wants to not allow for people to get abortions, all these things. It's not that he doesn't want to allow it. This is what he says. His current stance on abortion centers around leaving the decision to individual states rather than supporting a federal ban. He has stated he would veto any federal abortion ban. So there you go. Asserting that abortion policy should be shaped by state-level decision-making based on voter preference. So if you don't like the state that you're in and they're not allowing for you to live in the way you want to live, move states.
Or, maybe you should campaign for a representative that does have your same thoughts. Like, be productive. Don't just sit and bitch and complain.
And what does that take? Oh, that responsibility. But also, it takes ambition. It takes you actually wanting to find a solution rather than just blaming somebody because they're not giving you what you want.
Yeah.
But people don't do that. But this is what he says. This approach reflects his effort to appeal a wider electorate while still maintaining his influence among anti-abortions. Advocates who appreciate his judicial appointments and led overturning of Roe versus Wade. Though Trump has not endorsed a specific national restriction, I'll say it again, he hasn't endorsed a specific national restriction, he has shown openness to restrictions with exceptions. Here are the exceptions. So, they are for rape, incest, and the life of the mother, which all are practical and all make sense. If you're raped, if there's incest, or it's life or death, then that should be okay. because, I mean, all that shit's bad. You know what I mean? It's going to affect somebody for life.
Well, and I saw this thing on TikTok, and it was this black female who said that she found out when her child was 28 weeks that his genetic makeup was not sustainable with life. He could not sustain life outside of the womb. So she had to go somewhere else to get an abortion and then pay to have his body flown back. That was her argument. That, you know, she should be able to have an abortion for free where she lives, which I don't know where she lives, and it was really confusing. But my thing is, like, if your child is not sustainable outside of your womb, then why didn't your doctor induce labor and then you have this child?
Yeah, that doesn't seem right.
It doesn't seem right. And it's like people are, and my point with that is people are taking these little pieces of information and just running with it. And like the one guy we saw that said, you know, there's over 1 million abortions a year.
There was 1 million abortions
in
over
2023
last year.
Who is stopping anybody from having an abortion?
No one.
Like nobody. And it's like they just get so hung up, and the fact that they make abortion such a main point of women's rights, it's like that should be minuscule. It should be women's rights to take care of yourself. Women should have, you know, free prenatal care. Women should have more options postpartum. Yeah. Like, let's do something that's fucking productive for people that are actually trying to, like, be a good mother or be a good female. Like, or let's talk about lesbians being able to adopt more readily across the nation. Let's talk about artificial inseminations, like that those should be more readily available to lesbian couples.
Or even gay men.
Yeah.
Why can't gay men, you know, be allowed to adopt more?
Yeah.
Because both of them want to have children.
Yeah.
Right? Both lesbian and gay. And it's just as difficult, but they make great parents.
Yeah.
And a lot of them make better parents than some of these parents that have their own fucking kids. But my thing
is, like, why aren't we focusing on that? Why aren't we focusing on, oh, you're a lesbian couple, it costs thousands of dollars for IVF. Thousands. Why don't we look at maybe cutting those rates down for lesbian couples? Because they can't get pregnant the old-fashioned way. They deserve to have a family, just their own family. Children that come from them, they deserve that as much as you and I do.
Yeah.
So why don't we focus on that for women's rights and get the fuck off this abortion train?
If Kamala Harris was actually about women, that's what she would focus on. That's how she would get votes.
And why aren't the lesbians like rioting in the streets? Because they're being used, they're being lumped into the LGBTQ, I think I said them all, community when they don't have anything to do with trans.
But the reason why is because the lesbians, like the lesbians and the gays, they don't want to be part of that. They fought.
Yeah, they just want to be able to live a life.
They want to be happy. They want to be left alone, just like the rest of us. They want to go ahead and be able to make decisions just like the rest of us.
And have families and get married and
do everything.
Not be treated like shit just because they love who they love. Like that should be a fucking platform for women's rights.
That literally should be. That should be the platform for not just women's rights, but for feminists.
Yeah, like that should be like.
And if Kamala Harris was all about that shit, then she should be endorsing all that.
Yeah, like let's shift the focus from ending fetal life to making a child more available for people that are same-sex marriage. Let's make IVF more affordable for couples regardless of gender.
Yeah.
Let's make it more available. Let's cut down those prices. Let's make it so, okay, hey, you've been trying for X amount of years. You've tried Clomid. You've tried this reproductively. You can't do this without IVF. Okay, let's make it so they can have one. Like, let's give them equally the same thing that everybody else has. If we're so hung up on equality and women's rights.
Or even if they can't do that, because some people, a lot of that stuff doesn't work, then make it a more streamlined avenue so that they can adopt children.
Yes.
So they can go ahead and care for somebody who needs to be cared for.
Yeah, and we have these safe havens which are set up to where you can go and take your kid to a hospital, no questions asked, to an EMS station, to a fire station, to a police station, no questions asked. That's easy to turn your kid over. But once that kid turns over it takes the stars to align, the satellites to align, thousands of dollars to adopt a child, and it shouldn't. No. Like, you can vet people so easily, like we were talking about before, in this day and age. Let's streamline that process to get kids in homes and out of government housing. Like, what I mean by government housing, like foster care and stuff. But it's like let's focus on that.
Yeah. But in order to do that, they would have to also say, oh well, we don't want to make any more money, because the reason they have all that is because they want to make money. Yeah. Read one of those other ones on there.
It said that I lost it. That's what it said. It was vote as if you aren't an immigrant.
Vote as
if your daughter is a sexual assault survivor.
Which, obviously, apparently they don't care about boys. We talked about that.
Vote as if your child is unsafe in school. We talked about the guns and stuff.
Yeah.
Vote as if you can't afford housing.
Okay. I'm confused on that.
I don't get it.
Doesn't make sense.
Vote as if you can't afford housing. So hold on. So if you can't afford housing, that would mean that the economy is shit.
And whose fault is that?
But it's been 4 years and they haven't fixed it.
Who's the president?
Oh yeah, Biden.
And who's the vice president?
Harris.
And she's running for
president. And how much was gas when Trump was in office?
Yeah. And houses.
Oh yeah, and
what were interest rates on houses?
3.1% or
if not less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how was the economy doing? Everybody had more money in their pockets?
Yeah.
Because it was smaller government? Oh yeah.
And there were tax cuts, and people weren't paying like $6 for a fucking...
weren't paying $500 a week for groceries and gas?
Yeah, or $6 for just a gallon of milk. Eggs weren't... essentials?
Just vote.
But if you vote for Kamala Harris... she's gonna
because she's put forth so many solutions to our economy, because she wants to raise minimum wage, and anybody that's had a fucking high school class about civics understands that if you raise the minimum wage, you raise the price of everything.
Everything goes up.
Because if the big dog has to pay the little people more money, then that's less money in his pocket. So he has to charge more of the product that these people make to make it clear even again. Because none of these company owners are going to take a pay cut. So yeah, they'll pay you more, but all that's going to happen is you're going to pay that $2 is going to go on all the goods that are being created by these people.
Yeah, because they're going to make their money.
But apparently people don't understand how that works.
Oh, you know what's funny? And to jump on that. So I read this thing that said that people voting for Donald Trump are not as educated as people voting.
They're not as good looking either. I saw that too.
They're not as good looking, and they're not as educated as the ones voting for Kamala Harris. Well, if that was true, then why the fuck is that even on there? Why is that a thing? That if you vote for somebody who's done nothing but ruin the economy, that somehow the economy miraculously is going to be better. It doesn't make sense. Yeah. They're obviously not that educated, or I don't know where they went to get education, right? Mm-hmm. But it obviously wasn't very good.
And I love how the Democratic responds to everything for this campaign. Like when I say Democratic, I mean this campaign solely, because there have been good Democratic presidents. Yeah. Like we're not saying like Democrats. No, it's like this campaign. It's all about insults. Oh, well, you're ugly if you vote for Donald Trump. You're a racist if you vote for Donald Trump. Do you hear that?
You're a fascist.
Any Republican? There's no name calling. There's no degradation.
The worst thing, right? What was the worst thing that Donald Trump said? Oh yeah, that they're weird. He's weird. He's
weird. No, in JD Vance, they were talking about how the vice president-elect, when he was elected, he shook his wife's hand. That's fucking weird.
That's what he's talking about.
That's fucking weird.
That's weird.
If you're not, I understand some people are not okay. They're uncomfortable with public displays of affection. We're not saying make out with your wife, but you could at least
kiss her
hug her
cheek?
or hug her.
Or hug her.
You come up and shake my hand, I'm gonna slap the shit out of you, and then I'm gonna run. But I'm just saying.
I'm not shaking your hand unless I'm grabbing that ass.
But that is weird. And so now it's like this whole thing that they called
it grabbing that ass be weird?
No, that's normal. Maybe borderline inappropriate, but it's normal. But I'm just saying that is weird. I gotta let
the people know what I'm about.
But the whole thing is they just resort to like name calling.
Yeah, they're all about insults. I mean, literally, they called they called Barack Obama to go and fucking talk shit to all these black males, and it's like, really, dude? Like, you're just gonna go talk shit to these dudes?
Yeah. And all they're doing is trying to divide the country.
That's all they do.
Vote as if you're not white, but down here the caption says, "This land is our land. Let's bring joy and healing back to this country." How the fuck are we healing this country? By voting as if you're not white. Voting as if you can't afford, like, all that is division.
You're just dividing people.
Yeah.
So you're literally saying, don't vote like this half, vote like this half. That's called division.
Because this half is ugly, this half is uneducated, this half is not the same color as you.
This has a bunch of rednecks. This has, yeah. That's literally all that whole entire thing is just about division, and it's ridiculous. And I understand there's two sides, right, to this whole idea, this whole campaigning thing, but it doesn't have to divide people, right? Just because...
It doesn't have to have malicious intent.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to divide people in the sense of we're voting for somebody who is going to better our world, right? Not we're going to vote for somebody so that they can destroy somebody else. Because in Kamala Harris's campaign, she said that she's going to go ahead and make it so any past presidents are not exempt from prosecution. Why? Because she's obviously going to go ahead and witch hunt and try to take down Donald Trump.
For what?
Exactly, for anything. But that's what I'm saying. Like, she's literally just trying to go ahead and start problems. She's trying to go ahead and divide this country and say that he's an issue, he's a problem, he's a bully, he's a fascist, he's racist, he's this, he's that, he's white. You know what I mean? It's like, why is it all those things? Judge him by his character and by the context of it. Mm-hmm. Look at what he's done. That's character. It's not color.
No.
It's not anything else. It's not anything he said. Words are words. That's why we live in this country, because words are words. Color's color. That's it. Judge him by the context of his fucking character. If she's really black, she'd believe in that shit. That's what I think. Because that's how I look at people. I'm not fucking black. But, you know, some of my kids think I am, but I'm not. I don't know why. But it's just, to me, it's just like that. You know, it's like if she really was to believe that she came from African American descent, right, then she would believe the words of Martin Luther King, who literally stood up and said that.
Yeah.
In a fucking speech.
Well, and I think too, like, going back to the whole Obama thing, talking to black young males and saying, like,
it wasn't why aren't black young, it was all males.
Well, like, why aren't more brothers getting out and voting for her? It's because our country has evolved past that. Yeah. It's because black males and females have been taught and raised to not see color anymore. And because people like Kamala and I guess now Barack Obama, unfortunately, are trying to bring color back to the forefront. Because our nation has moved away from that. And only very recently has it become an issue again. Yeah. And it's like, you know, it's a good thing that they're not coming out to vote for her just because of the color of her skin. Yeah. Or just because of not the color of her skin. You know what I mean? Like that means that they're looking for more substance. They want to know, what's her policies? What is she trying to do? What is she going to do for me?
What's her virtue?
Like, what is she looking to do for this country? Not, oh yeah, I'm gonna blindly follow because we have, similar skin tones.
Yeah.
Like it should show advancement in thinking. And it's like, you know, these young educated black males, like, that's awesome that they are looking for more than just the color of her skin. Yeah. And it's like they're being reprimanded for it.
Yeah, they're being reprimanded for being better. Because it's like I actually think I'm an individual.
And maybe those guys weren't going to vote for Trump. Maybe they weren't going to vote at all. And that's okay. You don't have to vote. Yeah. If you don't see what you want to see in either candidate, then don't vote. And the great part about that is that's your right. That is your right. People died for you to not have to do that. And people, like, they look, oh, you have to get out and vote. No, you fucking don't.
No, you can stay home.
If you don't agree with it, then don't lie. Don't do it. You know, and I just think that's so crazy that they're trying to bring back race so heavily for no reason. It's unnecessary.
Well, it's because they're trying to just any little bit of anything that they can literally control or hold on to or have any say-so in it, that's what they're jumping on because they have nothing. Like literally, she's not said what she's about. She's not said what she's gonna do. I mean, the last thing I heard was that she was endorsing like reparations. Repar-fucking-ations. On what? How long has it been since there's been fucking slaves? Long as time. And you know what's really messed up to me? Like the part that people don't understand, that all these people that want reparations, right? What about the reparations for the Irish that were here, slaves? Or the Chinese? The Chinese, the fucking Japanese, every race.
Yeah.
Everybody.
My great-grandmother, she was actually, that was my grandmother. I mean, sorry, my great-grandmother, she was sold to the town doctor because her parents couldn't feed her, so they sold her. So she was his slave, basically, until she was 18. I'm 41 years old. She died when I was 16 years old. Like, that... You can't do that. Like, you can't. It's ridiculous. Reparations. So
who's going to pay these reparations?
Thing is like, and who's going to get them? Yeah. So so are we going to go back in everybody's lineage, and if you have one white person in your black family, you don't get it? Or is it okay? You see what I'm saying? Like, that's so stupid.
And the other thing too that she talked about was how she was going to have more avenues, loans, things like that. To equal the playing field so that black people, right, black males, I think she said specifically, can go ahead and have more opportunity when it comes to business and school and all that stuff. Okay, why only black males? You obviously, you're trying to say you're not racist, Donald Trump's racist. Okay, so why not Hispanic males? Why not Indians? Why not Asians? Native Americans? Why not Asians?
Yeah.
Why not, and I'm talking about every Asian. Because Middle Eastern people are Asian.
Yeah.
Why not Australian people that are here? You know what I mean? Why not all these fucking Irish, Scottish, freaking everybody.
Because that's all the white people.
Italians. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Puerto Ricans.
But it's like, why does it have to
Cubans.
be black? I don't get it. And like, my thing is like, why does it have to be, color. I'm going to do this for this color? Why don't you just make people. It to maybe what Donald Trump is doing, where he's trying to make college more readily available to everybody?
Yeah, he's literally trying to create a university.
And so therefore people will be educated and there won't be such a divide. So that way we won't have to say, out of these 15 people, 2 are black, we're going to give the opportunity to them only because they're black. Why don't we just say, hey, let's make college more readily available for everybody so all these people, black, white, educated. Whatever.
So then at that point too, you know what that causes? That causes people to think, right? That causes people to grow. That causes people to expand their minds. That causes
people to not follow blindly.
And that causes people to create a world that is more advanced than the world they started in. That's what that would cause. But people don't see Donald Trump to, that's what he's doing. No, he's not that, right? They're all freaking stuck on, that he's a fascist. No, the fuck he's not. That he's a racist. No, the fuck he's not. Like that he's not trying to help anybody out. He's trying to kill all these babies.
Well, they're saying he's a racist, but he's a racist, but Kamala's not a racist. Vote as if you're not white.
That's pretty fucking racist.
If Donald Trump would have ever said, vote as if you're not black, do you understand? Like they would burn the fucking world down. Vote as if you're not white.
Maybe he could have.
But that's not racist.
Maybe he could have adopted the Joe Biden. If you don't vote for me, you're not black.
I mean, like, why are people not pissed off about this?
Why are people rioting for this shit?
I know there are a lot of biracial families. There's a lot of black people that have white friends. Probably just as many black friends as they have. This world has all kinds of colors. Why are people not more pissed off about this? Vote as if you're not white.
Yeah.
That's so stupid.
That's on TikTok.
That's so
people
fucking
are advertising
racist.
That shit on TikTok.
It's so racist. And I'm not just saying that because I'm white. I'm saying that because if you can say that for one race, vote as if you're not Asian.
That's
what the fuck? You can't say that. That's so stupid. It's not stupid. It's ignorant. That's so ignorant. And that's just so beneath what we should be as a country.
And you would think that somebody who's running for president wouldn't be ignorant.
Yeah.
But yet, I'm pretty sure the people voting for her have the same mindset.
Yeah.
And that's what's ridiculous.
And I think, too, while we're still touching on this race thing, I challenge everybody that's listening to go and find Kamala Harris speaking in front of different people.
Just type it in on TikTok.
In different cities.
Type it in on your TikTok
You type
page.
it in, you can Google it. Look at Kamala Harris speaking in Chicago, speaking in Florida, speaking in California, speaking in Colorado, wherever she is. And notice how her dialect changes.
Or who, yeah, depending on who
Notice
she's around,
if there is a
around.
predominantly black crowd, how she speaks. And then notice if there's a predominantly white crowd, how she speaks. And tell me that's
Hispanics.
not insulting.
Or Indians.
Yeah, like she's so hung up on her on her
Female,
color of her
male.
skin that she is black, but yet she doesn't speak a certain way unless she's around them, and that should be insulting to that community.
Yeah, that just shows the one thing that
it shows that she
she's fake.
holds no value in them.
Oh.
And
She holds
it's
no
insulting.
value. She holds no value in the culture that she's trying to represent, and that's where the issue should be. But people don't look at that.
Yeah, and that culture is valuable.
Yeah.
That is who they are.
Every culture-
every culture is valuable.
every culture should be
and
valued.
you shouldn't, you don't see Donald Trump going and talking like, he's from fucking Mexico, like a cholo when he's in California.
Or talking like
you don't see him walking, what's up, vato, da, da, da. Like, you don't see him doing that because he's not fucking from there,
You don't see him talking like fucking B-Rad on Malibu's Most Wanted.
Yeah, and you don't see him talking like me when he comes to East Tennessee.
Yeah.
Like, you don't do that shit. It's insulting. Like, I remember when I found out Larry the Cable Guy was from Michigan and didn't talk like that, I was immediately turned off. I'm like, really? Oh, so you're making fun of me? You're making fun of the way that
So you're
people...
telling me you were turned on?
No, but I'm turned off by, it insulted me. No, that's not what I mean. Seriously, though,
Sorry.
it's insulting. Oh, you think you're funny when you talk like a bunch of rednecks, but us rednecks aren't stupid. That's just how we talk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's when Kamala Harris tries to speak like she's an inner city black woman, she doesn't speak like that. She's not from there. Why is that not insulting?
Mm-hmm.
It pisses me off when people try to fake that they're redneck.
Yeah.
It's like, you're not from here. You don't talk like that. You're doing it to be funny, or you're doing that to make fun of us. And that's a culture, a very rich culture that she's making fun of. And it's ridiculous, but it's okay. And it should be okay.
Yeah.
She should represent herself and who she is and every person in this country, regardless of race, because she wants to be the president of the United States, not the president of the black people, not the president of the brown people. She's the president of every fucking body on in the 50 states of the United States.
Yeah.
And it's insulting the way that she just picks and chooses how she's going to speak.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, and people are okay with that. People are so blind by, I don't even know what. They're so caught up on whatever it is, Donald Trump's being mean, that they don't even hear it. They don't even see it. You know what I mean? And I think it might be the whole love's blind kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right? But I think it's just ignorance. It's that they don't want to see it.
Yeah.
They're choosing not to see it. They're blocking it because, it's like people on TikTok have been saying, oh, well, I'm not going to, why would I vote for somebody who's a racist, who's a fascist, who's, this, who's that? Or like the one person, again, I'll say it, who's a dummy, right?
Yeah.
IRS dummy or something like that, whatever the fuck they said, stupid.
Or someone was like, why would I vote for somebody that's cleaned bankruptcy 7 times?
That's what they said.
Well, obviously you don't know how, business works. He didn't claim personal bankruptcy. He claimed bankruptcy for his company, because when your company doesn't work, that's what you have to fucking do. It's a start over. That's part of business strategy.
Yeah.
Don't talk about something you don't understand.
And
I don't even understand it. I just know that that's part of things that are done.
Yeah, and don't insult somebody's intelligence, because that is extremely intelligent when it comes to business, especially when you own tons of businesses. I mean,
Yeah.
it should show you how smart he is, because he's filed for bankruptcy, but he's still a fucking billionaire.
Yeah, it's
okay, I don't know a single person, right, personally, that has filed for bankruptcy and is still a billionaire.
Yeah.
Most people that file for bankruptcy have nothing.
Yeah.
They're fucking poor.
They're fucked.
Yeah, they're screwed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's just, it's just so fucking annoying because no one is speaking out about policy. They just want to insult.
Yeah,
they want to name call.
They want to throw hate out there, and they want to
hate.
But no, yeah, everybody in the Democratic Party is literally just trying to promote hate, and they're making up a bunch of lies. The biggest one that I saw again on TikTok recently was all those people
on every platform.
Don't vote that, like, vote. It's personal to me. You know what I mean? Politics shouldn't be personal, but it's personal to me.
Because I'm a Title I teacher.
Yeah, and they talk about Project 2025. So for all you people that don't know about Project 2025, you can read about it. Because I'm not going to tell you about it. Apparently it's really long. But anyways, they want to say that Donald Trump supports it, that Donald Trump backs it, that it's his plan, all this crap, right? So if you vote for him, he's going to make it go through. Well, he has actually distanced himself from that project. And it was founded by... It's a conservative initiative by the Heritage Foundation aimed to reshaping the federal government in ways consistent with, certain policies. Let's see. It says that he says Donald Trump stated that he has nothing to do with them and disagrees with some of the project's proposed ideas.
Yeah, he said that there are some good points to it, but he also disagrees with a lot of it, so he doesn't support it because he can't get on board 100%.
Yeah, and that he's never actually said anything about him being for any of it.
The only thing he said, like I said, he said it has some good points. So they took it has some good points.
Yeah.
And just fucking, he's for it. He's going to take away kids' IEPs. He's going to take away this. My thing is, like, when No Child Left Behind started, and when all these standardized things started happening in schools, things started to change to where you didn't have accelerated classes, you didn't have slower classes. It was like everybody had to be the same. So everybody that was behind had to be sped up. And they weren't ready. Everybody that was ahead had to be held back, and they didn't need to happen. So to me, it's like how a school system is done should be based on what that state needs, because the needs of Tennessee are very different than the needs of Florida, which are very different than the need of North Dakota. You know what I mean? So New York and all those places, like, it needs to be per state. It shouldn't be a nationwide initiative, and the school systems should be based on what they need.
And it should be also, it should be state, and then from the state, it should be going to districts, and those districts should be monitored, and decisions should be made by the communities. Because if it's not that way, then you have the same problem you have now, where you have all these programs for all these things that are messing things up for children that are more advanced, rather than in trying to dumb them down to, go ahead and bring everybody else up to par.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be that way.
Yeah.
And that's all Trump is saying. He wants to go ahead and get rid of all these programs and all these things that are literally not benefiting anybody.
Yeah.
They benefit the few rather than the many. And when it comes to, I don't know, anything that has to do with politics, anything that has to do with leadership, anything that has to do with a government, it should be about benefiting the majority.
Yeah.
Not the minority. The minority should not be your number one concern.
Well, and it's because he believes, which is part of Republican policy, I guess Republicans' beliefs, is he wants a smaller government. He wants a smaller reach of the federal government.
Yeah.
So it's left up to the individual states to determine what's necessary. And that's the best way for it to happen, because people that live in California have no fucking clue what people in Tennessee need, and vice versa. Like, they don't. I don't know what people in North Dakota need. I've never been there. I don't know. I'm not. It would be ridiculous for me to assume that I know what people in Michigan need. I don't know. I don't know where their kids are at. Like, I don't have a clue. And so it's a good thing that he's leaving it up to the state, so that way those elected officials can make decisions for that state.
No, and that's how it should be.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be, these people that literally have no idea what's going on in these schools. The ones that are in charge of making all these decisions, or, creating all these exams and just changing everything when they don't even understand how those specific school systems.
Well, it's just like when Kamala said, "Oh, I'm going to give you $750." What the fuck's that going to do? That proves that she has no idea what the needs actually are. And if she can't figure out what needs actually are in a post-hurricane situation, how the fuck is she going to figure out what every kid in America needs?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't even make sense. It's like, so we're going to go with Project 2025 because why? Because what's happening right now in the school systems isn't really working.
Yeah.
So why don't we try to fix it instead of like make it worse?
Yeah.
And they're all talking about, oh, my kid has the IEP. Why does your kid need an IEP? Do you guys ever stop and think about that? Why does your kid need an IEP? Probably because because we have 6 children, all different ages, all different grades, all different levels of academic.
Yeah.
And every single one of them has said at one point or another, I hate the way that we're having to teach this. We have to teach having to learn it this way because it's part of the standard. It's part of the national standard. So maybe your child needs an IEP because the national standard is flawed. For instance, we have a child with an IEP because he has a tic disorder. He shouldn't need an IEP to not get in trouble for having a tic disorder. It should be, oh yeah, he has a tic disorder. He tics more when he's nervous or when he's thinking or when he's having to speak in front of people.
Cool. That's it.
Why can't they just acknowledge that? Why do I have to have an IEP to keep him from getting in trouble? Why do kids have to have IEPs to take more time in testing? Why can't a teacher just acknowledge, oh, this kid tests a little slow. I'll give him more time.
That's it.
Like, why is that hard? Oh, this child is autistic. Everybody with a fucking brain understands that if you are delayed or not, or delayed whatever, you're going to need more time. Why is an IEP necessary? It shouldn't be, but it's necessary because of the way the government has made the education system. Because you have to be able to be here, 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 and here, or the whole thing's a wash or you're not doing the right thing. So these teachers are having to push these kids when they can't be pushed. So they have to have an IEP for them to not have to be pushed. Like, the problem is not having or not having the IEP. The problem is that you're having to meet these standards that don't apply to
that individual.
Yeah, you're trying to fit a square peg into a round hole.
Yeah.
And instead of just saying, oh, this doesn't fit, they just beat the shit out of it and make it fit.
Yeah. And they push it and push it, and it's like, oh, well, they're not keeping up. Well, this IEP allows them to continue anyways.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, you should be taught, you should learn to your capability.
Yeah.
And then push to go further than that, but not push to keep up with somebody who's way more than you are.
Or even a little bit more.
Yeah, but I'm saying,
like
they're trying to go ahead and do it that way, and it's unnecessary. It doesn't benefit anybody. If anything, it hurts the ones that are more advanced, and it brings them down, which it shouldn't. But
I think it also hurts the people that aren't as advanced because they're having to be pushed and pushed and pushed, or they get this piece of paper that says they don't have to do any of it.
Yeah,
and so they're not pushing as much. Yeah, and it's like it handicaps both ways, where it needs to go back to the way it was, where both my parents are retired teachers, and my dad talks about having to teach math 8 different ways for 20 different kids because he was trying to figure out how these children learn. And those days are gone. There's no try to figure out how these kids learn. It's what they do now is they sit them in front of a fucking computer and they're like, here, do this.
Yeah, figure it out.
You don't know how to do it, figure it out.
They don't even figure it out. They explain it one way and that's it.
Yeah.
It's like, this is the only way that we're teaching now because
and you can't ask questions. You can't do anything other than that. You have to do it that way.
Yeah.
And it's like, why?
Because these teachers are fucking lazy. These teachers aren't doing shit.
And the ones that aren't lazy are the ones that say, I hate that I have to do this, but they have to have a job. They have to do it the way they're told.
But those teachers, too, are the ones that actually make it more practical for these kids and make it reasonable. They go ahead and say, you know what? I understand that the way we're doing this doesn't make sense. I understand that this is, for lack of better words, dumb, but that's how they're making us teach it. So what are we going to do? We're going to go ahead and we're going to learn it this way for the test because you have to take a test on it because that's what the state says, right? Or that's what the government says, federal government has put on. But when you do it like this because it makes more sense, it's more practical, and that's how you're actually going to have to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This other way, it's dumb, honestly. And that's the whole idea behind it. But those are the teachers that give a shit.
Yeah.
The ones that don't, they just fall in line and do whatever because they can't think for their fucking selves. And I tell the kids all the time, and this is the fucking truth, the majority of teachers are not very smart. And that's the sad truth of it. They're not that smart. And those are the ones teaching our kids in public schools and private schools.
Well, I don't know that they're not smart. I think that they're not allowed to be more.
A lot of them are literally just not intelligent. We'll put it like that. I'm not going to say smart. I'll use the word intelligent. They're not intelligent in a lot of the things that they do. And I'm not saying that, I'm not insulting them in any way. Even if that's an insult, well, I'm sorry if you take it as an insult. But I'm not insulting you. I'm just saying a lot of these teachers, they are just not intelligent. They don't think for themselves, hence the reason why they don't find other ways to go ahead and help these kids.
But they're not allowed to.
But they are. They're just like that one teacher, who was it? I forget, one of the kids' teachers, that they literally said, this is how we have to teach it, but it's okay if they do it this way. Because for the test that they have to show this work. But if they solve it this way, for now, that's fine. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's showing that the way that they're making them do something, the teacher understands it's wrong. To me, that's an intelligent person. An intelligent person looks at a problem, figures out that it is a problem, finds a solution, and even if somebody's making them do it a certain way, they say, you know what? This doesn't make sense to do it this way. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to allow for them to do it that way, but only because they need it here. For the rest of their life, they're going to do it this way. And that's what I'm going to tell them. They're honest to their students. They understand the practicality in all of it. And that's how they teach it. So that, yeah, they teach it both ways, but they also teach it in a way where the kids will find it useful and it makes sense. They're not just falling in line because teachers, the majority of them, they just fall in line. That's the way I look at it. Teachers nowadays, they're like that. Again, it might not be their fault, but in my entire school life, I've only met maybe a handful of teachers who are actually really freaking intelligent. The rest of them, I mean, anybody can teach from a book that tells you exactly what to put on another piece of paper and then you have answers to it. It's not difficult. In some states, what is it? You can teach Spanish as long as you're, follow the guidelines. You don't even have to have a degree in Spanish.
You have to, after like I think a year, you have to test or something like that.
In some states. So to me, it's like if that's literally what it takes to teach, at the end of the day, teaching isn't difficult at all in any way, shape, or form. I can teach any fucking subject to the standard of the state. I can teach any subject to the standard of any state. And to the standard to pass any test, I can teach that myself. It's not hard. But now teaching them so they obtain useful knowledge, that's different. That is totally different. And it takes a lot more dedication. It takes a lot more knowledge. And it takes a lot more curiosity for those types of teachers. And there's not that many. Because those teachers, there's very few of them. The ones that are out there, like, they are embedded in teaching. Like, that is their life. Mm-hmm. But they also do so many things outside that make them more intelligent because they enjoy every aspect of teaching it. Like, they are literally running studies. They're doing this. They're doing research. They're all kinds of stuff. They never stop. That's why I said there's very few of those teachers. Those teachers are intelligent. The rest of them, I'm sorry, but they're not. But anyways, as far as Project 2025, Donald Trump, I found it right here, where he stated that he is not involved with the project and he's distanced himself from the policies and objective. His statements on social media and in speeches have emphasized that he, quote unquote, knows nothing about the project, describing it as the work of very conservative individuals who do not represent his views. So again, they don't represent his views.
He doesn't support it.
He's not supporting it. That's what that means. I mean, you want him to fucking say it because if that's how, I don't know, you need it, it's right fucking there. He doesn't fucking support those views.
Yeah.
So,
I think it's funny how, like, the Democratic Party is supposed to be liberal, right? Like, that's like their whole thing, that they're liberal. And Republicans are conservative.
Well, they're liberal to an extent.
But, I mean, but let's blanket term, right?
Yeah.
So, we have a president, or a president-elect, like Donald Trump, who says, you know, I don't believe in this because it's too conservative. I'm allowing, I want to allow abortion for these reasons. Like, he's being more liberal minded. Like, he is a more liberal minded Republican, but it's like, but that's not enough. You know what I mean? It's like, but then you have a Democratic nominee who is like, if you're not this, she's extreme. She's so extreme.
She's an extremist.
And she's an extremist. And so, like, that to me, people look at conservatives as extremists, and it's like,
she's basically the fucking Charles Manson of the Democratic Party. She literally is. She's Charles Manson. Like, she's literally got all these females, right, that have bought into her shit. What did Charles Manson do? He got all these females, right, to buy into whatever his ideas were, as radical as they were, as Marxist as they were.
She's gonna go for like the forehead tattoos.
Yeah, she's about to get something.
Jesus.
She's about to get a neck tattoo because she thinks she's a thug. But like, she's literally the Charles Manson of the Democratic Party, and there has never been another Democrat that's ever been this way, not one, because she is trying to just get any little bit of whatever so that she has votes, and she doesn't care. She doesn't care who she hurts, what she does. She doesn't care, and that's who she is, because that's what Charles Manson did. He got all these people, and he told them what they wanted to hear at the moment that they wanted to hear it, so that they could follow him and do whatever it is that he wanted done. Mm-hmm. That's what she's doing. People don't even see that, and it's ridiculous.
It's like you can't even really find what her platform is.
No, it's not anywhere.
Like, her platform is whatever Donald Trump wants to do, I'm going to do the opposite.
Yeah, I'm going to do the opposite.
And it's like, she's not even coming up with ideas that are like new and trying to like improve our country.
No, or if it's not even that, it's, oh yeah, because like I said earlier, if Donald Trump's doing it and it's benefiting him, so I'm going to go ahead and say that too.
Yeah.
Because it benefits me right now. But tomorrow when I go and speak to a group of, Hispanics and Asians, then I'm going to say something different, because that's what they want to hear. You see what I'm saying? She's fucking Charles Manson. That's all she's doing. She's literally just telling people what they want to hear so she can get votes, because she doesn't believe in anything. Like, she has no virtue. She has no freaking conviction in anything that she speaks. She's just full of crap.
She believes in getting ahead.
Yeah, that's all she wants. And it's freaking sad. It's like, that's not what type of president that anybody should want, but for whatever reason, people want to fucking vote. So, I don't know. But the whole basis of all of this, for anybody listening, anybody watching, is just that, do your own freaking research, and don't just listen to social media. Don't just because social media tracks you. Whatever you want to hear, that's what they're going to show you, right? I personally don't want to hear anything about the Democratic Party, but I still freaking do, right? I don't want to hear about all these people.
Because I comment on so much of their stuff.
Yeah, well, I comment on it too, but to me, I report some of it because it's a bunch of lies, and so to me, it's like we're literally, I guess, debunking a bunch of this shit.
Yeah.
Because, for starters, Donald Trump doesn't support the Project 2025. So get that shit out of your heads. Quit fucking lying. That's not what it is. As far as immigrants and immigration, right? He wants to deport immigrants, yes, the ones that are criminals, because he said that in his speeches. He said he wants to deport the criminals, charge people like the cartel with, actual charges, so they can't come back into any of these countries and, into our country. And he wants to get rid of all those people. Yes, in the past he said a comment, but he wasn't implying that to every single Hispanic, every single person that came from Mexico. That's not what he said. If you actually research and you actually look back, you actually go into that, that's not what he was saying. But depending on your news media, that's what they feed you. Quit listening to just the news. Do some research. You have a phone, look it up. You have the internet, look it up. It's really not that difficult. You don't believe one search engine, find another one. If you don't know what a search engine is, it's Google, Yahoo, things like that, Hotmail. I don't even know if they have it anymore. Yeah, but some people don't. You know what I mean? It's like, and also, if you're going to believe things that Kamala Harris is saying in any sense, go look it up, because I guarantee that's not even what she's freaking saying in those senses. You know, don't just believe what you hear in the news. Look it up, and then if the majority of what you looked up says these things are factual, then you're more than likely to believe those things. But if not, then don't, because people will literally believe the first thing they hear just because at the moment it fits whatever agenda they're trying to prove. That's not how it should be. There's right and there's wrong. Look for the right, stop looking for the wrong, because all you'll find is wrong.
Yeah.
And nowhere in anywhere in the world have I ever seen, in the countries that I've been to, you know, people complaining about capitalism. Right?
Yeah.
And if for anybody that wants to think that, oh, Donald Trump, you know, is a fascist, no, he's not a fascist. You know who was a fucking fascist? Mussolini. You know who was a fascist? Adolf Hitler. That's not the country we live in. That's not the things he's done. He literally spent 4 years. In those 4 years, you're telling me that he was running this country like Mussolini and Adolf Hitler? No. If anything, he was proving to other countries, you don't fuck with the U.S. because the U.S. doesn't mess around. And if you don't like that, go away.
Yeah.
It's that simple. So, if anything, he's a capitalist. And if you don't agree with capitalism, well, then I guess you don't agree with success, and you're probably not a successful person. That's just the way I look at it, because that's what capitalism is all about. It's about people benefiting, you know, from other people, because they're over here creating, engineering, you know, doing things, manufacturing things that are going to benefit them the most. But at the same time, as it's benefiting them, it benefits down the line. That's how capitalism works. You might have a lot
downhill, and so does success.
Exactly. And you might have a lot, but just because you have a lot doesn't mean you didn't earn that shit. He earned it, right? Yes, he came from his daddy's money, but he made him more money.
Yeah.
That means that he's showing his father that, you know, he is more successful than he was, and that he learned from him. That right there is the whole idea behind parenting. You should teach your kids that they need to be better. And for all you fucking Hispanics out there that are talking about that he's a racist, that he's, you know, gonna do all this stuff and they should vote for Kamala because of whatever, you're fucking dumb. You're fucking stupid. You're obviously not researching. You're obviously not that fucking intelligent, because if you were, or even if you have education of any kind that goes past, you know, that goes into universities of any kind, you should have learned how to research things, because it's really not that difficult. And if you can't find the time, or you just don't know how, well then maybe your education was not that great. So you're obviously not that educated. So you should look to be better, because your parents didn't come here so that you could be less. Your parents came here and they sacrificed what they did, and they did whatever the fuck they did so that you could be better. So you could be part of a country where you too, if wanted to, could be a fucking capitalist, where you too could be the next president, where you too can go to fucking space, where you too can go ahead and make so much money that you never have to work again. That's why people come to this country. I have yet to ever see an Indian person from any of the Indian countries, right? And you know what I'm talking about saying that. I don't mean Native American, I mean Indian person. Ever on TikTok saying the stupid shit that these Hispanics are saying about Donald Trump. Why? Because when they leave their poor ass country, it's a great country to some extent, but when they leave their poor country and they leave poverty and they come to the United States, they are so fucking grateful. They work their asses off and they make something of themselves and for their family. And they continue to help their family. And not once do they ever say, it's because of Donald Trump that he's a racist and all these things that I can't do something, or that he hurt my family, or he did this, or they never blame anybody. They come here, they work their asses off, they show their respects to their family by being better, being fucking doctors, lawyers, owning companies, whatever it may be. California, they own all the fucking 7-Elevens and gas stations, you know what I mean? Like, it's shit like that. But that's what it is. They do it for those reasons. And it's not about blaming somebody else. It's not about saying, oh, because, he said something in the past, even though he's proven that obviously that's not what he fucking said, that you're going to vote for somebody else just because of some words that he spoke, or just because you believe the media that you want to listen to. It's like, are you really, really like that ignorant? Because if you are, then you don't deserve to be in this fucking country. Your parents came here for no fucking reason. The only reason that they came here was so you can have a better life. And you're not trying to make it better. You're just trying to blame somebody else. If you really want to make a change, make a fucking change. Yeah. Be a better person. Because trying to blame somebody else is not you being a better person. That's you being a hateful person. And hateful people aren't better people. Donald Trump is not a hater. He's honest. And his honesty is truth. And just because you don't want to hear the truth, just because you don't want to hear the honesty, doesn't make it wrong.
Sure.
Just because the truth hurts your feelings doesn't make it wrong. If anything, it hurts your feelings because it's right. And I tell my kids that shit all the time. The truth hurts. And just because you don't want to hear it,
doesn't make it not true.
Doesn't make it not true. And it's not going to make it hurt any less. But you know what makes it hurt less? Accepting it, that it's true. Going ahead and fixing the problem, being a better person. Because with growth...
and learning from it.
Growth is learning. In order for learning to happen, sometimes you got to hurt. Mm-hmm. And if you haven't hurt enough in life, because apparently, all my Hispanic people that are talking shit on Trump about all this, bullshit, because it's not true, whatever you're fucking listening to in your media, you obviously haven't heard enough. And a lot of you aren't the ones that immigrated here. A lot of you are first generations like me. And the second generations, I don't even know, because a lot of y'all motherfuckers are stupid anyway. Jesus. But that's just how it is. And so we're here, we're just talking about it because it irritated me, honestly, that people would be out there, representing my people that, are prideful people and insulting somebody because of something that they don't even understand, that they obviously are ignorant to, and they're not even doing their own research. And, speaking on even race, and all these LGBTQ things, allowing for females to be, or for males to be in female sports, for males to be in female lockers, for males to be in female bathrooms. They had that one TikTok video a while ago where some dude was in the media and he was over there freaking like touching himself in front of a mirror in a female bathroom, recording it and putting it all over the internet. Like, to me, that's right there the reason why it shouldn't be allowed. But people don't see that because they're like, oh, well, poor little him. Maybe there's something wrong with him. Yeah, there is something wrong with him. His ass shouldn't fucking be in there.
He needs his ass
He wants to go ahead and do some shit like that. Do it at home.
Do it in the men's bathroom before that gets you.
And to me, it's like, that's the issue. You want to promote, equality. That's not being equal. That's taken away from the females.
That's preying on the weak.
Yeah, you're taking away from
and
females.
Being like,
you're taking away,
glorified for doing it.
Yeah, you're taking away from people
celebrated,
who've fought. They've fought, not fought, but have fought for years to get where they're at. From the women to the gays and lesbians to, hell, any other person, just so that you can feel better about yourself in a minute second. And it's instantaneous for you. But then you want to start another problem because you'll go to the extent to hurt somebody just so you can instantly feel better. And that's my issue.
Yeah.
You shouldn't do that. If you really want to bring peace to this world, if the Democratic Party or anybody who supports the Democratic Party really wants to bring peace and love and all this, glorification of equality back into the United States, stop what you're doing, reevaluate yourself, and as Jordan Peterson says, make your room first.
Yeah.
And then once you do that, see what your problems are and actually look for them. Because when you look for wrong, you're going to find it. And I guarantee you're doing something wrong and you should be better so that you can go ahead and better the rest of the world. Because that's our point as human beings. You come here to not just benefit yourself, but benefit those around you.
And because if not, take advantage of people.
Yeah, because if not, then what's the point? Yeah. What are you going to leave behind? because it'll be nothing if you're not remembered.
Yeah.
And you should be remembered for the good, not the
Not
bad.
for the bad.
So
Yeah.
I'm done. You have anything else to say? That was my soapbox.
My biggest thing is just like research. Before you start posting shit on TikTok, number one, make sure it's factual. And number two, think about how it's going to affect somebody. Think about, like, it's not just about, like, views you get. It's not just about getting out these comments. Think about how it's going to affect, if it's going to cause division. Like, we should be pro unity and not, like, dividing. You know, and people I'm sure are going to listen to this and be like, oh, we're anti-trans. No, we're not anti-trans. No. But we're anti-trans taking advantage of people because they're trans.
Yeah.
If someone
we're anti-advantage.
If someone wants to transition, that's their own business. But I shouldn't have to send my daughters into a bathroom with a person that has a penis that's just like a woman. Like, I'm sorry, like, I shouldn't have to do that, you know. And as far as, you know, children transitioning, I think that should be illegal. I feel like you know, the frontal lobe is not developed completely until you're 21 years old. I don't think you should be able to administer any kind of hormones or anything like that to a child until they're 21 years old, because they don't know. And there's so many, if you will take the time to look, there are so many people that are now in their early 20s that tried to transition in high school and they took all these hormones, and now they're realizing I fucked myself up. My parents should have, you know, supported me, but also educated me, because being a parent isn't always about being 100% on your child's side. Being a parent is about telling your child, hey, listen, you're not old enough to make this decision. You know, if you want to reevaluate this when you're older, that's fine. You're a boy, you want to wear dresses, you want to dress like a girl, go ahead. But we're going to leave you how you are genetically for right now.
It's about reasoning.
And when you're an adult, then you can make this decision for yourself, because I am not going to make this decision for you. You are not protecting your child by allowing them to manipulate their bodies to a point where that may not be able to be reversed. Mm-mm. And, you know, that's a whole nother bucket of worms, but we are not anti-trans. We're just anti-people taking advantage of other people for their own benefit. Yep. And, you know, we saw on Yellowstone, you know what fair is? When one person gets their way and the other person doesn't.
No person keeps their mouth shut.
Yeah, that's fair. But anyway.
Well, that's pretty much it. Thank you for joining us for another episode of TopicsPH, where we talk about the dirty, the clean, and everything in between. Why?
Because that's how she likes it.
We'll see y'all. Thanks again. Like, follow, subscribe. Later.
Bye.